Ever since I started getting serious about PC gaming, I've been singing praises over good old games, which is funny because I'm a Steam Deck player and I'm always telling people, make sure you check GOG before buying any games on Steam. It almost makes me wish GOG made a handheld. But anyways, we've been seeing a lot of changes and improvements with GOG over the years, including their stance on censorship. Where Steam buckled under the pressure of credit card processors, GOG, they decided to fight back. And don't get me wrong, both Steam and GOG are amazing platforms. But in my opinion, GOG has the edge, simply because every game you buy from them, you own completely. It's yours. Forever. No DRM, no strings attached. The other day, GOG announced their review system was going through a rework. For some time now, the review system on our platform hasn't been ideal. And we know just how important reviews are, both for discovering new games and for sharing your own experiences with them. That's why we're excited to announce that we've rebuilt the review system to make it clearer, easier to use, and more helpful. So let's go over these updates. You can now edit or delete your reviews anytime, with timestamps to keep changes transparent. There's better summaries with rating breakdowns at a glance. Your own review is always pinned at the top so you can find it right away. There's a dedicated reviews tab on your profile with the option to make it visible or hidden. Up to 8,000 characters per review, plus better formatting, smoother scrolling, and a dark mode support. So you can now write your novel-sized review on why Silksong is too damn hard, and why that High Halls gauntlet can eat your entire ass like pirate software. That's totally not me projecting. And last but not least, we have improved report and flow to help keep reviews fair and constructive. Now let's get into the really good stuff, because I just checked GOG's mod tab and they have added a bunch of free mods. If you don't know, GOG has these things called one-click mods, where you can essentially install them the same way you would do as, any other game. The first game I noticed there, and this is one I've been excited to play for a while now, it's called Call of the Void. And this mod takes both Quake 1 and 2 and merges them together into an entirely new game. We have all the original monsters from both Quake games, including 18 new ones, along with 2 new final bosses. A brand new campaign with 6 giant maps, fully compatible with Quake 2 Remaster. And this story takes place at the ending of the official expansion Call of the Machine. I was not expecting this huge mod to drop on GOG at the same time as ModDB.
To tear the Strog apart for defiling what was once theirs. Their machine of destruction.
Now, I'm not going to go over every single new mod. They're there if you want to check them out. I just want to talk about the ones I'm most excited for. The next mod is GMDX, and this is basically a complete remaster of the original Deus Ex. Not only does the game get a massive facelift, we got better AI, new tools and gameplay mechanics, deeper systems and customization, improved UI, and better balancing, as well as a ton of bug fixes. This is by far the definitive way to play Deus Ex. The next one we have is the real Return to Castle Wolfenstein, another complete facelift with everything from HD weapon models, new animations, and overhauled sound effects. But we also have optional gameplay changes, expanded arsenal, new enemies, inventory items, gunplay, extra difficulty options, even a survival mode letting you fight endless waves of enemies. Now here's one that really surprised me. Probably the first thing that comes to mind whenever ModDB is mentioned. Yes, I'm talking about none other than Stalker Anomaly. You heard me right, folks. We now have Stalker Anomaly available on GOG as a one-click mod. If you haven't gotten into the Stalker series yet, here's your excuse, and now it's easier to get into than ever. The entire trilogy of games seamlessly stitched together into one big open world. Check it out.
When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy. Don't ever play with guns.
And the last mod I want to talk about had my jaw to the floor when I seen it on GOG. And that's Ashes 2063, the best total conversion mod of Doom ever made. Ashes 2063 is Fallout meets Stalker, and it's still one of the most immersive experiences I've had in gaming. This mod is Doom stretched to its absolute limits, and if you haven't yet, this is a must play. This is one of the very few games I consider to be a masterpiece. Now all we need is Afterglow and Hard Reset to make this the definitive place to pick this one up. Yeah, I'd still recommend you pick up the standalone trilogy on ModDB, but if you're just getting into Ashes for the first time, this is easy as install and play. Since we've been talking about ModDB, does anybody remember, going to their local library as a kid and jumping on newgrounds.com? Because I do. And we got a new Doom mod inspired by Crinkle's Madness Combat called Somewhere in Hell. Check this out.
The impious madness must end.
Also, Radical Fish Games, the developers of Crosscode, just released a demo for their upcoming game, Alabaster Dawn. And if you don't remember Crosscode, it was basically top-down Zelda on steroids with insanely good combat. I'm expecting Alabaster Dawn to be another standout banger. Then, out of nowhere, Team Reptile reveals the sequel to Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. And if getting Silksong wasn't just crazy enough, we're now gonna get the sequel of another one of the greatest indie games ever made. If you haven't played it yet, Cyberpunk, it's not just a spiritual successor of Jet Set Radio, it's the evolution of Jet Set Radio. But with all this good news, there's always a little bit of bad news. And this one really sucks because it's one of my favorite apps on the Steam Deck. So the developer of XBPlay just announced that they were ending support for XBPlay. And not only that, it's going to be removed. In the update, the developer says, I wanted to share an important update with you all. After a lot of thought, I've decided I will no longer be able to support XBPlay. This has been such a fun and rewarding project, and it's only been possible because of all of you. Your feedback, ideas, and encouragement over the years have meant so much to me. I've never imagined XBPlay would reach so many people, and I'm truly grateful it could be part of your gaming experience. The app will remain available until September 30th, at which point I will unpublish it. Happy gaming. Yeah, real happy gaming. For those of you who own and have XBPlay installed, there's no word on whether or not it'll still function after support ends, and the dev was really being vague on why they're ending support in the first place. When asked why, they say, I'm sorry, I can't go into further detail. And when asked if they could release XBPlay in open source, they just repeat the same thing. Now, this news has been really under the radar, and it happened all on a Reddit post, so there's nothing else online I can find about it. But I'm assuming because Xbox has a new handheld coming out, they got a hold of this developer and asked him to take it down, or maybe threatened him with litigation. Now, what I think happened, and this is why the replies in these threads seem so copy-pasted and robotic, I'm thinking he was paid off by Xbox. I'm thinking Xbox now owns the source code to XBPlay, and they're going to be implementing it into their new handheld. This app was way too good of an opportunity for them to just pass up on. And I don't think this is a coincidence at all, considering this all happened during the launch, so close to the launch of their new handheld. This really sucks, because I used to play the original Gears of War trilogy, Ninja Gaiden 2, Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey, a lot of games that were only available through backwards compatibility on my Xbox. And I used to remote play them on my Steam Deck all the time. It was so good that it felt like a native experience, and to see it get taken down with such utter disregard to all the people who paid money for it, it just brings up the question again. What is digital ownership? Why is it that I can go anywhere else in the world and buy a product and it's mine to own, but when it comes to gaming, I can buy something and have it taken away from me at a moment's notice? 1 week to be exact. This wasn't a year, it wasn't a month. We got this news less than a week ago that this was going to happen on the 30th. I don't know, man. This just makes me so frustrated. Almost as frustrating as that gauntlet in the high halls that took me a total of 3 days to get past. I don't even know how many hours I was stuck in this room, man. Remember when I said, yeah, Silksong isn't as hard as people are complaining about? Morrowind, Sister Splinter, and The Last Judge? Come on, man. They weren't even that hard. But then I got to Act 2, and I realized this one thing. Everybody is gonna have this, this is too hard moment in Silksong. For me, it just happened to be the gauntlet in the high halls. I won't spoil anything because I don't want to show any content, in Act 2, but I'll just show you a picture of what I'm talking about. After about 30 tries, I had to set my Steam Deck down and I had to come back to it the next day. After 30 more tries, I honestly thought about giving the game an extended break. But out of pure frustration and hard-headedness, I decided to push through, and on the third day, Cherry. I got past it in only a few more tries. I still think Silksong is a masterclass of a game, and Team Cherry has knocked it out of the park. But I'm gonna change my opinion just a little bit. If you just barely scraped past Act 1, and the last judge felt like it was pushing you to your limits, I don't know if you can just get good. I don't know if that's possible. I'm not saying you can't learn enemy patterns and eventually get past some of the points in this game, but there's a certain level of hand dexterity and quick reflexes that you're gonna need in this game if you want to progress. I know I laughed when people said Silksong was harder than a FromSoft game, and I only disregarded it because their only references were early game bosses, and I don't know how many more challenges there are that are this unforgivably brutal, but this one instance for me, it didn't even feel satisfying to complete. It just felt like a waste of time. I'm gonna trust that Team Cherry put this in the game for a reason because they are no doubt masters at their craft. But man, I just have to say, out of all the difficult games I've beaten in my nearly 30 years of gaming, going all the way back to the NES, this level of twitchy reflexes and mechanical correctness that I had to endure in this one room was bullshit. But that's it for me. I'll catch you in the next video. Later.